Western powers say they will impose more sanctions. Japan, too, announced that it is joining Western sanctions by suspending talks with Russia on a range of issues. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin singled out China and India for praise and thanking them for understanding over the crisis in Ukraine. CCTV's Nathan King joins us now with more world reaction, rather. Nathan.
That's right. And there was an interesting geographical dynamic. As Vladimir Putin was officially absorbing Crimea into the Russian Federation, next door in Poland, President Joe Biden was promising reassurance to nervous NATO allies.
Gone is the diplomatic language.
Russia has offered a variety of arguments to justify what is nothing more than a land grab.
Shoulder to shoulder with Poland's Prime Minister, the US Vice President on a trip to Warsaw pledging support to nervous states who share borders with Russia and have large Russian populations. Estonia's president is also there for talks, and in Lithuania on Wednesday, Biden will huddle with Latvia too. The US has already bolstered its military presence in the Baltics, sending an additional 12 F-16 fighter jets to Poland and 10 more F-15s to a NATO operation that polices the skies over the Baltic states. The US is also sticking with its 2018 timetable to deploy missile defenses in Poland, a move long resisted by Russia. And France's Foreign Minister, Laurent Fabius, meanwhile told French TV that it may suspend the $1.6 billion helicopter carrier contract with Moscow if international sanctions are ratcheted up. German Chancellor Angela Merkel condemned Moscow's move to absorb Crimea, but did hold open the door to diplomacy.
Our assessment will not change. Nevertheless, we will, alongside the sanctions we have initiated, also continue to push for dialogue and for talks regarding the questions connected to Ukraine.
Britain's Foreign Secretary William Hague called the crisis the biggest test of European security this century.
This may be a crisis, but it's worth remembering that Crimea was absorbed into Russia with hardly a shot being fired. And let's take it, celebrations on the streets as well. The US will now meet its G7 counterparts at The Hague in the Netherlands next week to consider next steps. But with Vladimir Putin stressing that he has no designs on the rest of Ukraine or anywhere else in the region, any ratcheting up of sanctions will test the will of the transatlantic alliance, Elaine.
And Nathan, you mentioned the G7, but what are the next steps for Western powers? What is under consideration at this point?
Look, it comes down to two things. Are we going to ratchet up the sanctions, and are they going to affect the Russian economy, which could lead to a tit for tat over the European economy? What I'm told by many experts is expect an expansion of those under sanctions, not just 11 or 21 individuals, but maybe 30 or 40. Europe is not ready yet to have an economic war with Russia over Crimea. But if there's any movements into eastern Ukraine or elsewhere, then that rationale will become more important.
All right, Nathan King, and it goes on. Thank you so much.